let's just get to the lighthouse, and then we'll go home.
Listen to me, okay?
As the chilling saga of the MGM supernatural science fiction thriller series from unfolds, we find ourselves at a pivotal moment in its third season, now reaching the unsettling 5th episode. Following a series of heart-pounding revelations, this installment feels somewhat subdued as it pauses to weave in new threads of intrigue. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. The previous episode left viewers on edge, with Randall enduring the torment of the lurking monsters only to be abandoned at the doorstep of Colony House. Meanwhile, Tabitha's return from her enigmatic journey to the real world brings with it a heavy weight. She has returned with Henry, igniting the hope of a long-awaited reunion with his son Victor, who has been lost in the shadows. Yet, the town's dark atmosphere thickens with yet another death, leaving the residents of Formville teetering on the brink of despair.
Out of the way! We're gonna need some fresh towels!
What happened to Randall? In the chilling 4th episode, the malevolent creatures escalated their sinister game, forcing Sheriff Boyd into a harrowing dilemma: save Tabitha or Randall. With Tabitha still shackled inside the ambulance, Boyd's only chance to escape lay in driving the vehicle to safety, but he needed the keys. The monsters, reveling in their wickedness, had seized the keys and taunted Boyd, dangling them just out of reach. They demanded a sacrifice: Randall's life in exchange for the keys. In a moment of desperation, Boyd made the agonizing choice, abandoning Randall to the merciless clutches of the monsters. As the episode drew to a close, the young man was left to endure their brutal torment, his battered body displayed like a grotesque trophy outside Colony House. It appeared that Randall had succumbed to his injuries, but the shocking revelation in Season 3, Episode 5, would later confirm that he was still clinging to life. As the ambulance screeched to a halt outside Colony House, the sight of Randall strapped to its hood sent a chill through Donna and Boyd. They rushed forward, hearts pounding, only to be met with the gruesome reality of his injuries. Blood oozed from a jagged gash on his cheek, a wound so severe it seemed to threaten the very structure of his face. Yet, against all odds, Randall was still breathing, and urgency propelled them to whisk him inside for immediate care. Inside, Mari prepared to stitch the gaping wounds, her hands steady despite the chaos. But just as the needle pierced the air, Randall's eyes snapped open, wild with fury. "You left me!" he roared at Boyd, the accusation echoing like a gunshot in the tense room. The monsters had not only spared his life, but had also left him with the haunting memory of betrayal, the bitter realization that the town's supposed protector had bartered him for mere ambulance keys. Randall's temper flared, a fire ignited by the betrayal that had simmered since Season 2. Even in his battered state, he lunged at Boyd, fists flying, a whirlwind of rage and pain. The struggle was fierce, but eventually, order was restored. Recognizing the danger of keeping him at Colony House, where the sight of Boyd or Tabitha could unleash his wrath anew, they decided to transfer him to the clinic, a place where the shadows of betrayal might not loom so large.
So do I, all right? But the truth is, there's no easy explanations to any of this, okay?
Town meeting. Tabitha's sudden reappearance in Formville sent shockwaves through the small town, prompting an urgent meeting at the diner. The purpose was clear: to unveil the mysteries of her disappearance and the extraordinary experiences she had endured. However, whispers of her miraculous journey to the real world had already spread like wildfire, igniting fervent discussions among the townsfolk long before the meeting commenced. As the diner filled with anxious faces, the air thick with anticipation, it became evident that the focus had shifted. The townspeople, fueled by a mix of anger and betrayal, fixated on Tabitha's choices during her time away. Instead of seeking help or devising a plan to rescue her loved ones, she had squandered her chance on trivial pursuits, like searching for the elusive bottle tree in a forgotten park. The tension in the room escalated as voices rose, each accusation sharper than the last, leaving Tabitha to grapple with the weight of their disappointment and the haunting question of what could have been. Dale and Fatima seethed with anger, their voices rising in the dimly lit diner. They couldn't fathom why Tabitha had chosen silence over action, why she hadn't gone to the police or alerted anyone about the sinister happenings in Formville. Tabitha struggled to articulate her reasoning, her words tangled in a web of disbelief. She knew that had she reported her findings, no one would have taken her seriously. Her earnestness, would have been mistaken for mere eccentricity. In her mind, unraveling the enigma of the bottle tree and the dark secrets of Formville alone seemed a more viable path than seeking help from the authorities. Henry, the elderly man with a weathered face, stood by her side, recounting his own journey from skepticism to belief. He had initially dismissed her claims, but his unique experiences had forced him to confront the truth. Yet his testimony fell flat among the townsfolk, who regarded him as an outsider, a newcomer oblivious to the town's lurking terrors. Officer Acosta, desperate to lend her voice to the chaos, recounted how she and her team had doubted Tabitha's warnings, even when she urged them to stay inside the ambulance. The unnaturalness of the situation hung heavy in the air, but the townspeople, particularly the members of the colony house, were incensed that Acosta dared to show her face after the tragedy she had caused. As tensions escalated, the atmosphere in the diner became suffocating. Frustrated and overwhelmed by the weight of the accusations, Tabitha and Jim exchanged a glance filled with unspoken understanding. They slipped out of the diner, leaving behind the storm of blame and anger, their hearts heavy with the knowledge that the truth was still buried deep within the shadows of Formville.
Great. See?
We're going to the tree.
Finally.
Tabitha and Faraway tree. As Tabitha stepped through the door of the Matthews house, the weight of her recent journey hung heavily in the air. She recounted every chilling detail of her trek through the shadowy forest, the eerie lighthouse, and her eventual return to reality, her voice trembling with the remnants of fear. Jade, who had just emerged from his own harrowing experience in the forest huts, listened intently, his eyes glinting with a mix of curiosity and concern. It was he who first suggested the idea of seeking out the elusive faraway trees, convinced that their trunks held the key to understanding the strange portals that had ensnared them. Frustration bubbled within Tabitha as she recalled the accusations hurled at her during the town meeting. The need for redemption ignited a fierce determination in her. She would find those trees and return to the lighthouse, no matter the cost. Jim, sensing the storm brewing within her, tried to dissuade her from embarking on yet another perilous quest so soon after their reunion. But Tabitha, her resolve unyielding, assured him she would tread carefully this time. As she and Jade ventured into the unknown, he shared unsettling revelations about the children he had glimpsed in the underground tunnels. He spoke of a peculiar symbol that seemed to haunt him and the strange chant of Ankui that echoed in his mind, uttered by the very children they sought to understand. Jade felt an inexplicable pull, a belief that the secrets of Formville lay hidden within those dark passages, yet they were powerless to act on it for now. Their search led them to a faraway tree, its gnarled branches swaying ominously in the wind. They peered into the hollow trunk, hesitant to step inside, for the destination was a mystery fraught with danger. But Dale, a fellow townsman, brushed aside their fears, his reckless spirit urging him to plunge into the unknown, leaving Tabitha and Jade to grapple with the uncertainty that loomed before them.
Know how to get home. I didn't know how to get home.
Victor didn't know how to back home. In the gripping narrative of Season 3, Episode 5, the long-anticipated reunion between Victor and his estranged father, Henry, unfolds amidst a backdrop of tension and delay. The atmosphere thickens with unnecessary drama, prolonging the moment that everyone knows is destined to happen. When Donna uncovers Henry's true identity, she offers him solace at Colony House, revealing that Victor is currently missing. Henry, burdened by guilt, yet yearning to reconnect, is momentarily ready to set aside his sorrow. However, Victor, caught in a whirlwind of childish fears, learns of his father's arrival and panics. He confides in Sarah, expressing his dread that Henry might not recognize him or, even worse, reject him due to the passage of time that has altered his appearance. This fear is not unfounded. In the eerie realm of Formville, time seems to warp, aging its inhabitants at an alarming rate, leaving Victor looking nearly as old as his father. As Ethan offers comfort to Henry, Victor wanders the town with Sarah, unaware that fate is about to intervene. In a twist of destiny, the two finally cross paths, leading to a poignant and emotional reunion that promises to unravel the complexities of their relationship. The question lingers, can the combined intellects of Victor and Henry devise a plan to liberate the trapped souls of Formville? The suspense hangs heavy in the air, leaving viewers eager for the next chapter.
You guys can thank me later.
Had Dale made his way back to his home, As the shadows lengthened towards the conclusion of Episode 5, a sense of urgency gripped the residents of Colony House. Dale, a man driven by desperation, resolved to take control of his fate, casting aside the guidance of figures like Tabitha. The townsfolk gathered in a tense meeting, their voices a chorus of hope and fear as they shared their dreams of venturing into the depths of the forest to find the elusive trees. They believed that by leaping into their hollow trunks, they could somehow reach the lighthouse and return to their former lives, just as Tabitha had done. But as Boyd recounted his harrowing tale of stumbling into a treacherous dungeon after entering one of those distant trees, doubt began to creep into their minds. The plan, once fervently embraced, was now met with hesitation, and they decided to pause their quest. Yet Dale's longing for the real world burned brighter than the flickering candlelight around them. Ignoring the warnings, he set off into the darkened woods, determined to uncover the truth behind the magical trees, driven by a hope that teetered on the edge of madness. As Dale stumbled upon a distant tree, the very one where Tabitha and Jade had gathered, he felt an irresistible pull. Ignoring every warning that echoed in his mind, he leaped into the gaping hollow of the trunk, a reckless thrill coursing through him. But horror awaited him. Instead of being whisked away to a fantastical realm, Dale emerged grotesquely from the cold, unyielding concrete of the abandoned swimming pool on Formville's main street. He was ensnared, his body wedged within the solid wall, a macabre spectacle for the townsfolk, who could only watch in disbelief. Panic surged as the pressure of the cement began to crush him, blood seeping from his wounds, a grim testament to his fate. Boyd and the others stood helpless, their hearts pounding in their chests, knowing there was nothing they could do. In a matter of moments, Dale succumbed to the relentless grip of the wall, his lifeless form a chilling reminder that the monsters were gaining ground in the ongoing war against humanity, a stark reality laid bare in the shadows of Season 3, Episode 5. So this was for today's folks. See you in our next video. Till then, bye-bye and take care.
Kill anybody. You let me worry about how to take care of my goddamn town.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.